Well, hello there, pumpkin friends. It's Chad from Colorado Giants. Today is May the 7th, Tuesday. It's my day off. I spent a good amount of time in the greenhouse, so we have some things to talk about, but it's time for that weekly update, so stay tuned. Appreciate you watching the video and coming on this journey with us. It's a whole lot of fun. You'll just have to take my word for it. We're all having fun growing giant pumpkins. And if anybody says otherwise, then they're just full of... they're fibbers. That's what they are. Anywho, consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the little button down there. Hit the bell. Comment below if you have any questions. I'll get to them. So today was a pretty good day. My first day off. We have some family in town, and we will continue to have family in town for the next 3 weeks until June. Once June rolls around, I'll have some free time, but pretty much until that second week of June, I'm booked up. So I did a handful of stuff, a lot of stuff today. And let's talk about it. I'm gonna flip you around. Unfortunately, my microphone just died, so we'll have to live with old school audio quality. So the biggest thing that I did today was I set up probably about half of my automation. That high tech video that we did, the future. I installed those probes. So I installed those probes, like I just said. And the data is starting to roll in, which is pretty cool, I must say. The process for installing these was very simple. You basically drill a hole with an auger that they sent. You mix up some mud. You put that mud in the hole that you drilled, and you jam in the probe. The reason for that is that you want soil, 100% soil contact with that probe, so you get the most accurate readings. So it was pretty easy to do. One thing that I found that I didn't like was that tearing holes or just cutting a little hole to install the probes, I found out that the weed fabric is transmitting far too much light. You can see it. You can see the bubble up. So the weeds are growing underneath the weed fabric, and they're probably loving that environment because I usually don't have a weed problem until, I don't know, at least for another month or so. But the warmth that the weed fabric has provided has supercharged that process. So I'm probably going to need to zoom out. So I probably need to peel back, because you can see I have two sheets, peel back this second sheet on everything and pull the weeds so that they don't get out of control, because I don't want them underneath the weed fabric just pollinating and perpetuating the problem. So yeah, it's a good and a bad thing. Let's talk about the other sensor that I installed. So the other one was the Growy. So I got the Growy all set up. I made a nice little mount for them. So I'm going to mount this mount. I'll build a little stand over here, and got that rocking and rolling. It's feeding me data. It's really cool. I built a little holder for the probes, because if you've never measured your pH before, you have to keep that pH meter kind of moist at all times. And with me filling and emptying the tank, that was not ideal to keep that probe healthy. So I made a little cup with some holes in it. I used a big giant dangerous magnet from one of the robots, and that'll keep it there. All I really need to do is now hook up my fertilizer mixtures to these, and I can set them to dose based on EC. I've set my pH parameter so it can go up or down, and it can automatically adjust the pH to where I want it all by itself. And then I have 4 options for basically microdosing is what I'm going to use it for. So I'll use pH or Humate from Neptune's Harvest. I might do a little fish and seaweed emulsion from Neptune's. And then I may make up a couple of concoctions that I can microdose in those ones just every day. So that's just one less thing that I have to do. But it's pretty darn cool. It's very accurate. I put in like a shot glass of CalMag, and I could see that raise the EC on the graph. So really cool. Once I have more data and information on all of the sensors and stuff, I will give that to everybody. I'll share that. The only thing that I need to do is clean up this wiring and install my smart plugs. I set the watering system up so I have full water to the greenhouse now, which is mildly unfortunate because we have a frost warning tonight, a freeze warning. It's supposed to get to 28. We should be okay in the greenhouse, but that would really, really suck if everything shattered in here because it froze. So I'm probably going to turn like the at least one of the misting, or at least one of the hose nozzles to like mist, and leave it on and just have a big puddle somewhere. So let's talk about the plants. Just to throw you guys off, I'll start at the back and work my way forward. Haha. We can see that the ground temperature is at 75.7. I'm not sure if that's showing up on the screen. And I have my heater in here set to 78 degrees. This is the 2006 Wolf plant. They're looking really good. I forgot to roll this down, and I gotta admit I was very surprised with how heat tolerant these are because I didn't open up the hot huts. One thing that I did, and I don't know why I did it, I just had a brain fart moment, was between these two plants. Does anybody know what's wrong with these two plants? Or this plant specifically? If you said, yeah, it's pointing in the wrong direction, that would be correct. So for whatever reason, I planted this incorrectly. I have no reason. I don't know why I did that. So it should be pointing this direction, but instead it's pointing that direction. So I found this out today. So I just noticed it rather. So I'm gonna get a bamboo skewer and start directing it that way. Because if I were to choose today, this is the one that's thrown out the vine, and this one looks fine, but it's just not thrown out the vine like that one is. So, oops. Here we are at the 1931 Turner plants. I really haven't looked at these too much, honestly, so this will be the first time I'm really down on one knee scoping them out. These plants rather, have been a little heat intolerant, which is kind of surprising to me, given that they both came from, the origins came from this greenhouse, and they're fairly heat tolerant. I will say, though, that they are in the hottest part of the greenhouse. This half of the greenhouse that they're on typically is much hotter than the other half of the greenhouse, just because of the orientation. So it looks like they're really starting to vine. Probably next week's update, I would imagine these will have a vine down or somewhere pretty close to it. But the color's great, the vigor's really good, and I like it. Last but definitely not least are the 1783 News. These are probably, I'm not even gonna say probably, these are the best looking plants so far. This one has a real nice vine wanting to go. I bet you in a couple, 3-4 days, that'll probably be on the ground and really wanting to take off. This one's not too far behind it. I have my backup 1783s and 2006 and Giant Tomato. I'm gonna give those away pretty soon. Teresa has one claim, the club ex-president, and then some other gardening enthusiasts are going to get the other ones. So that's it for the pumpkins. I would say this week the 1783 is winning. And that's it for this week, everybody. It was a really good week. We had 70-mile-an-hour gusts, and knock on wood, the greenhouse survived. Some of my holes are a little bit bigger though in the plastic. I need to fix that. We've learned that cheap weed fabric is not the way to go. Don't go cheap on the weed fabric. Get the good stuff that Jacob and Ben use, and probably some other people. And We learned that technology is awesome. So, the sun is going down. I got to go hang out with the kids before it's bedtime. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Get out there and grow yourself a giant pumpkin.